So let's see, 5 years ago, you and I were in a foot race. I finished first. The flag, somebody did something like this with the flag. I won the prize, which was the most beautiful woman on earth. I got to marry her. You got a set of steak knives.
Yeah, that was the Glenn Ross
Yes,
moment for
yes.
me. Yeah, I came to your wedding single.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
I did.
Oddly, I'm still single.
Oh, man.
And you still aren't, which is good.
Well, but here, more seriously, though, we did connect. We reconnected. It had been a while since we had seen each other. It's one thing to talk by phone, but to actually connect, see one another.
Golf limo. That's how it happened.
It was great. I'm like, okay, perfect. Kevin's like, you were going to Sweden, right? You're going to Scandinavia. You had this, like, oh my God, and the thing. And I thought, wow, this is great. So then we started, we made a commitment to get together and then see each other. What about once? I think it was once a week. Or maybe
once every 2 weeks.
That's what it was. That's right. Once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then we started to reflect on all things acting related, the Actors Network.
We just chatted for a while. I mean, mostly for a lot. It's like I had lost. You were, one of the women I fell in love with was a friend of yours,
Yep.
and so your early time in the network before your life went that way in the past, and we spent it seemed like the first year we just spent time chatting reflectively about the business.
Yes.
And then historically about ourselves, and then one day it just turned because you were going to start going out on auditions and stuff again, and I believe I was trying to assist with helping you get an agent because you'd had such a good commercial career,
right?
And I was successful at that, even though they didn't really work out very well for you. But and next thing I know, you're yelling at me about the Actors Network.
That's right.
Yelling's a strong word.
Well, no, but it's funny because you have, of course, you've got binders here, and I remember going through my storage. My wife and I were making an effort to clean things out, and I said, "Well, we can't do anything."
This is wow. So this was the inception. Wow, look at that, Kevin Miller.
Kevin Miller.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes.
So this is how it started back in 1991, but this is even not really fair because I would make these little profile pictures for everybody because I'd take pictures of them, and I made this on my computer. But this wasn't even a 3-ring binder. This was like the third iteration because the first ones we had were just those paper folders, like the school folders.
Yes.
And so that was the early binder, and of course, eventually, as time went by, long after that, years and decades later, this became the binder with the thing and all of the information we'd have in it, so people didn't have to go to Samuel French and buy them. And the interim visual on that was the in-between point was, of course, the infamous back then when it graduated to the big 3-ring binder with all the stuff in it. And that was sort of a very quick trip down memory lane with the membership binder. But I didn't think that much at the time that it would be such a thing. And it became such a thing. And you remember there was the Players Directory, but nobody had ever done anything outside of the Players Directory until us. And they didn't even really have, like Kinko's couldn't even really do this back then. But we used to do this 3 times a year. It was such a nightmare for me to try and do this back then technologically. But the scanning and the process to do this, but we would take this, and this was just included in membership. People didn't have to pay extra for this. And this went out to about 300 or 400 industry people. I mean, you go back to the people who spoke at the network. I mean, you know this. We would have holiday parties, and it was the only party in town where there would be 300 actors at a party with 100 industry people who willingly came and stood at a party for 5 or 6 hours surrounded by actors. And it was all because they knew from myself and Paulo, Andres, my business partner at the time, that you had to conduct yourself properly.
Right.
Or your butt was never coming back to a party again. And the industry people knew that. Not one complaint. In all of those parties, did I ever have an industry person come up to me and say, that person's being inappropriate at a party as an actor? Never happened.
Wow.
But they were epic, man.
Oh, dude! As soon as you said
those parties were epic.
Willingly, I'm like, I remember. Like to think about that today. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm gonna retreat to my Facebook group or my Instagram profile. You would like getting people together. I think that's what for me was like that remembrance of what you were able to do, how you were able to connect with the industry. And I went, oh my God, is there any way we can kind of get that thing? And you remember you looking, we are not doing the Actors Network. I'm like, no. But is there some other way that maybe we could?
She kind of brought it up like that, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that again.
No.
But it did. What you allowed me to do was you allowed me to crack open the crypt.
Right.
Spider webs, cobwebs, and shit, and sort of ruminate. I ruminated a lot. I've been ruminating on this for 2 years now.
Right.
And you have knowledge and education about online programs and things that I just don't have. It's just not my world. And it was a combination, Paul, with time. Any form of distance of time from sort of the death of something. Emotionally, psychologically, and I needed a break from that intense sort of pulling on me, and this is different, but hey, man, you did it, and we are now building that program.
Right. I hope to a degree. Now, maybe someone watching thinks, "Oh, I see what they're." It's like some big gain for you or us. I said, "No, if there was some way." Because what motivated me was like, what's in that brain of yours and what's in this experience that's still, because you always talk about the cellular, I can feel it at a cellular level. I'm like, I remember like the first couple times I hear it, I'm like, oh, that's so corny. But then I'm like, oh no, I know what he's, you go and you go do a drop off, or you get the call for a booking, or you get, oh no, they went a different direction. They're like, oh yeah, I'm feeling that at some point in my body. And you saying that, it finally registered for me like, oh, I hope he's ready to like distill that brain and that experience and put it somewhere where we can go, hey, look at this. whether it turns into something or not, I'm like, at least it's all captured, it's digitized, and it's available to people.
No, I mean, after the years of speaking and the years of creating that sort of what we would eventually call a topical discussion curriculum is what the network was run on.
Right.
Again, my teachers in high school would just laugh at me. My dumb ass went and created an educational curriculum, much less for the artistic community.
Put the paddle down,
Was that you again, Kevin? The rubber band and the stapler? Thanks a lot. Whoopee cushion, just send him to the principal's office. And then having, taken the time shortly after closing the Actors Network physical doors to write the book,
right,
which even then for me was a psychological and emotional struggle to get that out, but to try and find a way to take those 24 years and the book itself, which had to be a very distilled down version of what the 125 hours in my head are, and then to be talking with you about this and go, well, it's going to be different. It's different to try and do something that's an online program that's going to have both the nuts and bolts and the gravitas that I would want it to have.
Exactly.
Not some cheesy, flippant thing somebody threw up one weekend, on Wix.com. Nothing against Wix, but I'm just saying, they did it, in the garage with a thing and a laptop and they went to 3 commercial auditions and invented an online program.
I hear you.
Like, no. Something that would have sort of a through line from how that organization was viewed. Because most of those casting people are still around to this day.
Exactly.
It's like Michael Sanford would punch me in the head if it was something that was not something that he would look at and go, that's awesome. Kendra Castleberry would be like, what are you doing? That doesn't capture what being at the Actor Network was for her, or Joseph Middleton or anybody else. And so I think with your assistance, we have been able to arrive at a pretty unique design and structure, a unique design and structure as to how to bring this at least to one place, which of course we're going to have to go far beyond that with doing some live streams and that sort of thing for the general public and also just globally. But But I think that what we've put together is going to be pretty thorough and pretty comprehensive in a way that, with of course me just smoking on a pencil during the middle of it, it should be pretty. It should be pretty fun.
Totally fun because figure we're meeting like weekly for 3.5 years, and when you would talk about right, I was like, we weren't doing the semi-monthly, but we were meeting so frequently. I'm like, oh, this is great. And then all of a sudden you'd start to leave. Well, no, I thought of this in '99. I thought of this, and this. I'm like, oh. And then you pulled out the notes. You go, here's my 125 hours that I don't have a chance. I'm like, but this is like 5 more books, Kevin. Yeah, I don't have time for that. I'm like, oh, okay, got it. Yeah, so we probably should steer. People do read books, but there is a wonderful electronic technological convenience to like, I can push a button and I can, feed myself.
It was going to be 5 books
exactly.
Originally. Yeah. Initially, it was going to be 5 books, and I was going to do it under the premise of college.
Yeah.
Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, and grad school.
Right.
25 chapters a book, 125 hours in my head, and the program, the base program, won't be quite that long, but I have a funny feeling over the course of time, it will all be there.
Yeah, rightly so. I think I don't have all 125 topics committed to memory, but I was like, wait a minute, yeah, that doesn't duplicate that, and that doesn't duplicate that, and that's going to be essential. And the fact that
some of them have morphed a little,
yeah,
but the irony in that people genuinely. This is part of my problem with what I see out there right now is everyone is trying to turn show business into something that it actually isn't. And they're trying to turn show business education into something that it has not become. Because the number one challenge when I moved here in 1987 was, how do I get a good audition?
Right.
And the same challenge exists today.
Correct.
It has not changed 1 ounce. So access is still the issue. And there's certainly a zillion other issues, but at its core, technology's changed.
Right.
But the challenge for a non-star actor has not.
Totally agree. I totally agree. And it's disconcerting, and I want a quick fix. I want to know that some app or piece of technology is going to wedge me into a room where I can be mystifyingly bad, and I go, oh my God, please, go back for more training, and I go, oh God, no, don't do it. Don't leverage something like, oh, your really cute video and thinking that's going to get you on episodic television, or this is going to get you a national commercial. It's like, there's a little more to this, and because you are a specific audience. It's like, that's what I love about you. It's like, Kevin's not for everybody. I'm like, oh, really? You're kidding me? No, we can't. Not everybody in the world's gonna like Kevin. It's like, no, it's sort of like kick down the door. He's first through. It's like, this is my approach. I'm like, and I believe me, I was one of those people like, yeah, I like this part. I don't like that part. Yeah, I don't. But now it's funny. Now, years removed from the network, I see the value of having that hard drop off, of walking around the city and going, okay, that's the casting office, meet the assistant, befriend this person. Oh, you mean this person, this barista knows who's in the office and not? I was like, never thought to do that before. Bedeviling it is. No, it's amazing. And
we're still people, man.
Totally.
We're still people.
Totally.
There will never be a submission that will ever be as memorable as you in person for 90 seconds. Ever.
100% agree. The hope, of course, is that you can at least give somebody a tool or 2 or 5 or 10 where they could put themselves in a position to have 90 seconds of wonderment.
Yeah, or a few hours of me running my mouth.
Exactly. Oh, give a fist bump on that one. Yeah. That's
because I failed at it.
Right.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Because I didn't fail a ton. I learned quickly from that didn't go very well. I mean, it's like, but every single thing that I talk about is not something I pondered. It's something I did.
Right.
It's vocational. It was cathartic. It was cellular. It was on the fly, get shot in the field, medic, and get back up and go, okay, let's not make that mistake again. And the truth of the matter is, people are still people. We are still people. And the same problems that actors are challenged by in 1987 or 1997, if you're a non-star person trying to talk to somebody on that side of the desk or start some form of a professional association, as I call it, that challenge and those difficulties and that cellular uncomfortable thing still is present today, because we're still people. At least for now, you and I are not AI cardboard cutouts.
No, it's not yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
Well, that's why I am so grateful, very happy that you are building it. And the hope is they will come.
Some will come.
Some will come. Well, I don't need them all to come.
Some will get scared.
Some will get very scared, because there's a, I'm sure somebody famous once talked about truth and whether a person could handle it or not. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But no, it's.
I won't do Nicholson here right now.
But we'll be okay. But no, some will come. I think they'll be delighted and pleasantly rewarded by some shifts, whether they're small or large, in their approach to the craft and their self-marketing efforts, which
and the
is
business, yeah.
and the business.
I certainly would say, without, it's not in any way has anything to do with my ego or anything else. I sure wish I could have sat in my house today and listened to me when I was in Atlanta all those years ago, just because I care. I do it with compassion and integrity. And I've seen this movie just a little bit.
Credits are rolling. So let's see again. 30 plus years as an actor, film and television, 30 plus years helping actors. Oh, you did them both concurrently. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Wow.
Boom.
Boom, 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 boom. Oh my God.
Good times.
Good times. It says, thanks for viewing. We hope to see you back here soon enough. Please like us, subscribe. If you got any questions, let us know. We're here for you. Thanks again.